back to our weekly gathering and discussing the gospel according to Thomas. And thank you for being here. Thanks for participating. I put in the email that we're going to do 31 to 40. We'll see what happens. There's a bunch of short ones right at the beginning, and we should go right through those right away. And we'll just see how far we go. It just looked like we could probably do more this week. And happy to be here and see you all. Welcome. How's your week going? How's your early summer if you're in the Northeast? I'm loving it, like 70 degrees outside and just the beautiful green leaves are taking over the trees. It's awesome. And let's see, this week we'll start with 31. Who would like to start with reading this very short first one? Please raise your hand if you'd like to do that. Okay, I'll get us warmed up, but just know that your seat has the warmer button on it. Warming your seat up. Jesus said, "No prophet is accepted in his own village. No physician heals those who know him." And then Cameron said, "We may shed identity with our body minds, but that does not mean that others will cease to identify as they did before, or identify us as they did before." So that would be like mostly your family. When you start to change, your family still knows you as the way they know you. And so they don't run to, oh, okay, you're this now. You change your name. No, you're the old name. If you change however, when you live in an that awakeness, uh, uh, kind of energy, it has a way of transmitting. Oh, you seem different. You're a little different. You're calmer than you used to be. When I would, and especially if they know your trigger and their trigger doesn't work anymore, that's a telltale. So, in many ways, you wouldn't transmit as a teacher, but in other ways, you will transmit as transformed. And I don't see any hands up on that one. If you have any comments on it, please raise your hand. We'll move to 32. I told you this was going to be, we're going to flip through these. And if you came in late, we're looking at 31 to 40 this week. And if the second one, they don't have titles. You just have to sort of pick up on what was said on 32. Would someone like to read 32, where Jesus talks about being the city being built on a high mountain? Everyone uh, eating or just quiet today? Uh, I like the short ones. Hi, Gail. You like the short ones too?
I don't
Welcome.
know. I just have this I can't stand silence.
Right, right. Yeah. Sometimes it's just overwhelming, right?
I don't know if it's overwhelming. I just thought I'd just jump in here
Thank you.
and just give it a shot because I
Yes,
usually sit quietly. Uh,
yes. Me too.
32. Jesus said, a city being built on a high mountain and fortified cannot fall, nor can it be hidden. And Cameron's response is the man who has arrived at certainty as to his true nature cannot lose it, nor can this certainty be hidden. I actually kind of like that. I think there's so much truth and depth to that, that when you know who you are, the truth of who you are, there's no way of going back. There's just no way.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So,
Yeah. And it does, even that word, the fortified, it even has that even resonates because once you know yourself, you're certain. You have this different quality
mhm.
that comes in and rings true. Yeah. Yeah, I love what Cameron pretty much he just sums it up exactly. I wouldn't add anything to that, and it sounds really obvious and true. Thank you, Gail.
Can I just quickly jump in and say how much I appreciate Gail's reading? It
Oh,
was
sure. Thank you.
so beautiful, and I appreciate her bravery.
Thank you, Holger.
Yes, and I can so much relate to this certainty. It's so simple. That's the biggest problem. It's effortless, and it's always here, ungo-awayable, like Rupert said.
Mm, mm.
But it's so easy to get distracted with the me belief. That's the only thing. But
Yeah,
otherwise, it's an amazing journey. And thank you so much for your meetings. It means a
yeah.
lot to me.
Thank you, Holger. Yeah, and Gail, thanks for speaking up. You can feel the certainty in the way you just shared that. This is why, we can read these same words 2,000 years later or last week, read them again, and they ring true as oh yeah, it's a certainty of knowing and being at the same time. It's awesome. All right, please, who would like to read 33? Sandra. Hi, Sandra.
Hello.
Nice. We're outside today. Yeah,
Yes, it's so beautiful. I had to come outside.
I know. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Jesus
Where
said,
where where are we, Sandra?
we're on
What
30.
state are we
I
in?
live in Delaware, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Oh, nice. Very nice. So it's
Right
the early
near the beach.
summer for you
I,
too. Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
yeah. Oh, I said so it's early summer for you too. You just all your blooms are happening
Hmm.
like they are here. And yeah,
Yes, it's
nice.
a blessing to live here. Okay, so number
Yeah,
33,
yeah.
Jesus said, preach from your housetops that which you will hear in your ear. For no one lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel, nor does he put it in a hidden place, but rather he sets it on a lampstand so that everyone who enters and leaves will see its light. And Cameron says Jesus encourages his followers to speak out about what they have come to understand through his teaching. He wants everyone to be able to benefit from this good news. Those who have understood shine, and the light they emanate is there for all to see and be guided by. So I think I shared a few weeks ago that when I first had an awakening, I did not share it with anyone. I was quiet about it for a very long time, more than a year, and then only to very select people. So when I read this, I thought, I don't really think I preached to anyone. But yet, about a year ago, my older daughter came to me and said, I don't know what you have, but I want it. And So for me, it's not a matter of speaking so much, just being it, around being it as much as I can, living the understandings that I have now. And to me, that's a form of sharing rather than trying to talk about it a lot, because I have difficulty expressing exactly what's happening. So when she started coming, I said, well, let's just form a book club. So we read The Power of Now. And then my younger daughter said, I want in on this. And now every week I meet with them every Thursday and we read a book. And we've read some of Rupert's books and we talk about it. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I am definitely not preaching to them. I am learning with them. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I think that's different though. I think, the Christian, I was a Christian for a while, and the Christians take on this idea. They take this idea and take it too far, as if like you need this because you're a sinner and everyone's a sinner and you need to be saved. And so it's a little kind of a pushy thing. And then also Jesus, in the Gospels, when he would heal someone, he would say, "Go and tell no one," because if until you're established in the understanding, the mind likes to re or distort what you heard into something different, and it's sort of it can be, if you're not established, it can distort your direct experience and cause you to doubt. So that's why, I think when you said a year before you said anything, I think that's perfect because it allowed you to really be established in that experience. And when it happens, most of us, we don't understand it. We need more clarity. We need
Yeah.
someone who has been walking in that for a while to they convey, maybe like Rupert did for me. I understood the awareness experience 5 years before I ever met Rupert, but I didn't understand what the experience was so that I could share it. And when I would talk about it, it wouldn't come out the same. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I was a Christian also, and I never really bought into that evangelical part of it. I just liked reading what Jesus had to say.
Good for you.
So, but this is, I wondered about why am I not speaking so much? And I'm only now, since I've become a part of this community, started speaking to people. And I think it's because I feel safe here, that you understand what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Looks like Jude, would you like to read 34, Jude? Or are you speaking on 33?
Hi, Bill. Hello, everyone.
Oh, somehow we put Barbara up. There we go.
Is Barbara first?
No, you're next. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I really like this, bringing out the meanings of the words preach and teach and share, because it all comes through words and language. But like Sandra Sharon or whatever, whoever was the last person who shared, said to teach it, I have to have it in order to be it. Having it and being it and teaching it is where my honesty and my integrity come from. I know who I am. I know I'm peaceful, I'm happy, I'm joyous, and I'm free. And this is the good news that I've learned. So I share in my daily experience a way of being it. But when it comes to teaching it, sitting down and talking about it. I, like you, Bill, had multiple experiences that I couldn't even put into words in order to even ask about it or to understand it myself, let alone share it or teach it or preach it. It's like, how do you experience? How do you express? You can't. It's an inexpressible kind of an experience.
Hmm.
So, and I have been called teachy preachy, and people have found it to be condescending, and I think that it really has taken some of the joy out of wanting to share my experiences, because some people are so busy studying it and trying to practice it and trying to learn something that they already are, that they resent someone who is just being it and trying to express it. So I think that's where I may get into a little bit of difficulty with this teaching and preaching and sharing. So that's just where I'm at with it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's a funny thing, when you become preaching, teaching is if it's preaching, it becomes imposing, or can. And as long as those who log in know what they're logging in for, then it's the audience, you get to pick how you want to show up and listen. And if someone's preaching to you, it's like, you need this because you don't have it. And I like the idea. I don't think that's what was meant here when he says preach from your housetops. I think he just means be authentic. That's what I think.
That's what the point I was trying to make about being honest
Yeah,
and
exactly.
knowingly being it.
Right.
So I
Well,
read
thank
your-
you. Thank you, Jude. Okay, we had Barbara. There you are. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Or is it
Good morning.
afternoon there? Guess it's afternoon.
Yes, this afternoon. Where are you?
I'm in Canada, so I'm like, what is this now? It's 10:18.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you in Vancouver side? You're over on the
No,
west?
Alberta.
Alberta. Okay.
Alberta. Yeah, cattle country.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Anyways,
know that area. I know more Montreal. I'm below
oh yeah,
Montreal.
that's the fast moving guys.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay. So when and you and I both, I mean, we went through the cult years and all the religious years and all these things, the on fire Christian.
Yeah.
They say, oh boy, they don't know what now. We got a newbie. Anyways, so when I look at this preach from your housetop, it's really from a higher mind. It's really from a higher reasoning. It's to speak. You don't have to speak. You are the light. You are the light. And once you get the light, like he says, everyone will see it. You can't put it where he says it puts it under a bushel. There, I would have to say that it's just, sometimes when we're coming and going in this thing for a while, because it's very not stable for a while. And once we it grounds itself. I'm not going to say I ground it because I don't do anything, but when whatever it is, grounds itself within, and I'm in that, then I don't think you have to preach. I used to say to my brother, if you're preaching, you're reaching. If you're reaching, it's outside you. So somewhere you've missed the message because ours is about going inward, not reaching out. So
Okay.
that's how I keep myself clean. If somebody's doing that, if it's fine, they need to do it. But it tells me then probably they're preaching because it's not so much they need to tell us something. They need to hear themselves tell themselves something because
Right.
that's all
Yeah.
we do is we tell ourselves something and
Right.
and we just want other people to hear it.
Yeah.
That's how I have experienced a lot of this now. So if somebody's asking, I trust completely in the universe that if they're asking, I asked and I'm finding. It says, knock on the door and it shall be open. There you go. So I don't think I'm an agent to God, and I don't think he hired me in any way. I don't think he needs me in any way to do anything. And so I trust in that. And so many people ask me, and that's what gets them looking, is because I don't have the answer. I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Self is all I got.
Yeah. There's something that happens. There's some quality of transmission that happens when the ego isn't imposing itself, then presence is. And it's not louder, it's just deeper. It has a resonant.
Like Francis, Rupert, yourself, Paul Ferrini, who I really liked in the old days. I thought he was amazing. He's really got the pointing. He really is simple about that. But you didn't have to preach to me. They don't preach to me ever. That's why I can trust in that. I came because the universe put me here, and I trust in that, and gave me all the right people around me, and so that the message can get to me, and it's the message, not the people. And so how can you get lost? You just trust. It's all there for you. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, let's who would like to read 34? Another short one. I told you we're just gonna go right through all the way to 40. Hi, Patricia. Welcome. Good to see you. Welcome back. Can't hear you yet.
Okay, can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
There you go. Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you. It's good to be here. 34. Jesus said, if a blind man leads a blind man, they will both fall into a pit. To those who would teach, make sure your motives are pure and your vision clear. To those who seek a teacher, use your intelligence and discrimination to ensure the authenticity of your chosen teacher. Do not settle for less than an inner yes. I love that. Do not settle for less than an inner yes, because we have it within us to know where our people are. Like the people that are here in this group, or like with Unity, I found Unity back in 1982. I had been a Catholic, and I heard Jesus's words through that venue, and it was very punitive. But that's not the Jesus I know now at all. The Jesus I know now is someone, it's not preaching at all. It is an inner feeling of connection with being the child of Christ, that you're Bill Christ. Everybody has that name. We are all that already. And I don't have to seek outside myself for somebody to teach me, but I love being in that environment. I don't have to, but it's a pleasure to be with people who love doing this kind of work. I think in the world, the way it is now, we can use all the help we can get, because I don't watch the news or anything like that. It's just way beyond anything that I want to get involved in. But my husband does from time to time. And when I wander through the living room in front of the television, I almost go like this. I mean, literally, because I don't want to know their viewpoint. I have my own viewpoint, and I know there's a higher plan. I know that behind all of this, there's something good that's happening. We just can't see it with our human eyes, but our spiritual eyes, our Jesus eyes. Jesus saw everything in a way that was beyond anything that our human eyes can see. And so I like being in this kind of an environment, because nobody's preaching, not even you. I mean, really, even though you're leading us, it's everybody just gets a chance to share from their heart what's going on in them. And I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I'm definitely just setting up the storefront for everyone to come as equals. Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
You're welcome.
And um, 35. Look how fast we got to 35. We're not even at the halfway mark. Intuitively, I must have known that we were going to go to 40. They get a little bit longer after this one, but who would like to read 35? Jude. Hi, Jude.
Hello
Hey,
again.
Jude. Did you like that song? Hey, Jude. Guess who wrote that?
Oh, I've never been known by Judy or Judith since.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus said, "It is not possible for anyone to enter the house of a strong man and take it by force unless he binds his hands. Then he will be able to ransack his house." The world cannot force us into identification with it unless we allow it to. Once identified as individuals with apparent separate individual consciousness, however, we lose our freedom and are driven solely by our fears and desires.
Hmm. Yeah, this one has a little bit of um, almost a riddle quality to it. When I was reading it, I'm thinking when Jesus said, "It is not possible for anyone to enter the house of a strong man and take it by force unless he binds his hands." And of course, that's a metaphor that uh, somehow you have to be willing to be bound. If you're the strong man, and you have to be willing to be bound. And this is almost saying stay alert, be vigilant in terms of pay attention, and that's what Cameron meant. The world cannot force us into identification with us, with it, unless we allow it to. And in a free world, that's totally true. Like if someone didn't want to be here, they would just click the button and click out. Some people are forced to be in situations that they need to maybe it's not so easy to click out. And in those ways, they don't have the same ability to just turn it off. You know, if you were raised by an abusive uh, parent, you can't just turn that off. You have to wait till you leave home before you can uh, 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 leave the circumstances of that. So, um, in content, it's it's easier for us to click out of a Zoom meeting or to walk out of a meeting if it doesn't, or like you said, Patricia, that you know put your hand up and walk through the room. So you're not engaging. And that's really the important thing, I think, is that if we are allowing ourselves to be engaging, we fall or we open ourselves to being invested in the experience, which is more what I hear you saying, Patricia, when you said, you know, you don't even want to look at it. You're just you're not ignoring it. You just don't want to log in and engage in that energy field because it's not an energy field that supports or that lives normally with inner peace and happiness. It's a different energy field altogether. But thank you. Thank you for that, for reading that, Jude. And we have another short one for 36. Who would like to be next? But did you have something to add to that, Jude?
Yeah, I
I
just
see.
wanted to say my mind and heart is always free. It's always been free. No one can no one can imprison my heart or my mind. No matter
Yeah,
where they put me, no matter what my situation or circumstances. I think that
yeah,
ultimate freedom is a very, very important point to take from this. Um, that anybody can take me if I give power to them, be it conditioning by society or my family or my schools or my work or taking on any of those kind of personal roles and identifying with the personification of my mind and my spirit into little compartments. We compartmentalize our minds and our hearts in these little roles, and I think that's where we lose our freedom, and where we lapse into that being taken away.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I really, I don't know if you, I love some of the civil rights documentaries and things, and thank God for Martin Luther King and the people that stood for freedom back in the day, because that wasn't an easy thing for people to do, to stand for freedom in the face of a world that was different. Yeah. Thank you, Jude. Okay, 36. Who would like to read 36? Tricia, thank you. Can you unmute your mic, please?
Thank you.
There you go.
36. Jesus said, "Do not be concerned from morning until evening, and from evening until morning about what you will wear." Cameron says, "Do not be identified with outward appearances, for this is not who you are. Rather, find out your true identity." And I think this took me quite some time to recognize, because when it says here about what you will wear, I had a mom who, in the morning before we could go to school, she would have us walk in front of her with what we had on. And if she didn't like what we had on, we had to go change, because she felt we represented her. And she always wanted us to look our best. And so she instilled that in me, that I was to always look my best and look, fix my hair, put lipstick on. She had us at the age of 10, 11 years old. Now I have natural curly hair, but I didn't back then. Putting rollers in our hair so that it curled. And so when I got into truth with the capital T, I began to recognize that all that emphasis on the outer and what I looked like totally hid another me, the part of me that I really am. And I don't think my mom meant to do that. It's just that she came from a neighborhood where my grandmother wanted everybody to, she came from Italy, and it was very important that they fit in. And the outer appearance is what determined if you fit in. And so that was what was instilled in her. And my sister Carolyn, who was 16 months younger than I, both had this outer appearance thing. And so we talked about it one day. She became a Reiki master, had a huge Reiki clientele, and I became a unity minister. And we went in ways that my mother would have been proud of us. But I don't think back then she understood any of this. And it was okay because she didn't instill it in us. But you know what? We find our way. Both Carolyn and I were exposed to the people who taught us. We didn't learn. My mother taught us kindness, compassion, caring. That's the kind of person she was. But as far as like a higher dimension or what's inside of us, as far as being the truth of our being, that, you know, where we stand is holy ground, that we're God's hands and feet, that we're how God shows up on this realm, things like that. I learned that in Unity. I was 40 before I learned that in 1982. But I learned it, and it has served me well. And so now I don't identify with outward appearances, for this is not who I am. I rather have found my true identity. Thank you. And thank you for hosting this group. It's such a beautiful group.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, you're the beginning in the US of that wave, that front wave of we're not going to do it that way anymore. It was post Vietnam and that whole, and then the civil rights, and all of that happened in a wave. And you were the beginning. I was right behind you in that wave of just and actually what this is saying to us, learn to live intuitively. Learning to live intuitively, because we have we're guided by a knowing of what to do, where to go. And and this is why and how meditation can be very helpful, because in quiet we learn to move intuitively and not go by the old paradigm of what we thought was best. And also, I'm thankful for people that told us, how to look good and do, and be good examples, because there's that too. So there's kind of both sides of that. It does help when you have someone that's older than you, or that, looks at your appearance and doesn't let you leave the house until you look a little bit presentable, because it gives you a balance in how to show up. So there's that too.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, let's look at
Appreciate my
37.
mother.
What?
I said, I do appreciate my mother.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And I have that in an older brother that taught us, manners, and taught us how to be good kids. So we weren't, tearing the world up. We were pretty rowdy. And if we weren't steered a little bit, we could have, lost control, and did sometimes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Jude?
May I read this next one?
Yes, thank you. 37.
I think it's just a deepening of 36. This is good. His disciples said, quote, "When will you become revealed to us? And when shall we see you?" Jesus said, "When you disrobe without being ashamed, and take up your garments, and place them under your feet like little children, and tread on them, then will you see the Son of the Living One, and you will not be afraid." When we no longer identify with our body minds, nakedness is of no concern, and fear is seen just as just another feeling arising, part of the old story of the separate, quote, me, another object in our awareness, no longer relevant. This reminds me of the the story of the emperor with the new clothes story.
Yes.
And how everybody was saying, "Oh, look, he's naked," and everybody saying, "No, he isn't. No, he isn't."
Right.
But these two readings both remind me of something that Jean Klein spoke to me of in one of his books years ago, that never project a self-image or a self-concept. And, the Course teaches salvation is freedom from the past, that forget everything you know, everything you think, because all thought and beliefs and concepts of a self are perception, and we're not objects, and we can't, what we are cannot be perceived. So in order to find my true identity, I have to let all that go. And in
Right.
order to really get naked, I really had to let all that I think I know go, all that I thought I was go, all my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my experiences, because they were not permanent by definition, because they were temporaneous, and they came and they went. So they're to be of no concern. This too will pass. How no matter how great I look on one day, tomorrow I may have a bad hair day. So what? But this
That's right. And not put
yeah,
not put any makeup on, and you're still you.
I'm still beautiful.
Right.
But this self-consciousness strikes me as a funny thing, that I used to be so self-conscious, like the lady just spoke of previously, very self-conscious of, being a nurse. I mean, I came out of the white hat, white stockings, white polished shoes, no makeup, no jewelry, no nail polish, impeccably pure white. It's like you couldn't come to work unless you looked like a nurse. And but this self-consciousness brimming over into, social mores, wearing the appropriate clothes for the appropriate event, like no white after Memorial. Was it Memorial Day, or was it? I can't remember now. So far gone from all those rules.
Right.
But
Good.
that embarrassment totally is of the ego, because you really do lose your consciousness of being a me, and really giving any kind of a hoot about it. So it's really a lot more fun to be
Yeah.
quote unquote me. Thank you. I'm complete.
Yeah. And the energy of shame, guilt, that it should be some other way, it doesn't accompany one who is authentic. So there's that too. That energy we bring with us. We bring our own shame and guilt, or pretense. And when it doesn't accompany that, it has a different persona, or not even a persona. It has a different uh, aura transmission. Thank you, Carol. Do you have something to comment, or you want to read the next one?
Yeah, I wanted to actually make a comment on 37. I really love it. When I read this, I made some notes, and right away it kind of hit me as my personality traits, like if I'm quick to be angry or negative, or even if I'm positive, or anything that I have, maybe my abilities or my disabilities that come into play. When I saw, I saw that as the garments, and place it under your feet and tread on them. And it's not saying stomp and rip them up. It's just saying, like a little child, enjoy them, play. That's what a child would do. Just see it and play with it and enjoy it, and recognize that they aren't you, but they are something, well, I call it, it's part of the experience machine, that the truth is using.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds like a little metaphysical imprint that's that you're speaking as the child in the sandbox is still playing with the garments but isn't attached to them.
Yeah, just recognizing that they're garments,
Yeah,
literally. And
yeah,
so any emotions like shame, because you're not naked, it's just recognize that they're garments that were not part of you. So shame or guilt, even though it can arise, maybe eventually can be just known as an emotion, but it really doesn't belong to anything. And then it just becomes less relevant because there really isn't any shame that belongs to anything, even though sometimes it feels like it. Like, I think spirit gets identified with all that stuff. And then, oh, I experience it. It's not me, so to speak.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, anyway,
Yeah, it's to know
beautiful,
the self.
beautiful.
That first or that sentence, I mean that piece, that very last sentence, then will you see the Son of the living one, and you will not be afraid. So you will know the self when the
Yeah,
garments are, you're no longer attached to your garments.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for this class, by the way. Love it.
Thank you for coming, Carol. We appreciate your involvement also. Okay, 38. Maybe we're going to have a couple more left. We still have 10 minutes. Who would like to read 38? Barbara? Hi, Barbara.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Anyways, with our comments going on, it's like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You're just not attached to what you're doing.
Right.
So I like when you dress up. Yeah, right. It's okay to dress up and go. You're in the world. You're not of the world.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be
Yeah.
attached to what you're doing. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Jesus said, many times have you desired to hear these words, which I am saying to you, and you have no one else to hear them from. There will be days when you will look for me and will not find me. There is an urgency to Jesus's words. Teachers like Jesus who come into the world are so precious. They are like an oasis in the desert for those who thirst for understanding. It is our responsibility not to squander this gift when it is presented, but to embrace it completely. That's how I felt about like Francis and Rupert and them and yourself. I mean, the gifts you men give, and Jenny Beale. I mean, my goodness, what grace in the world. I mean, who could ask for a better life? Thank
Yeah.
you to all of you. You're amazing. That's all I can say.
Thank you. I'm humbled to be put in the same sentence with those guys. I feel the same way. When a great teacher, Adyashanti is one, Eckhart Tolle, all of those great
All of them. Yeah.
beings. And when I would interview these men and women for these documentary films, I just feel like, oh my God, uh, don't miss this moment. Take advantage of what's available to you, for you. and don't waste or put off the teaching. Just absorb it if you have time. And of course, the especially a living teacher, a living, like a Francis or Rupert, those guys are going to give up teaching one day, and you're going to go, oh, why didn't I go to them when I had a chance? Yeah. So, yeah, that's what it means, I
Well,
think.
I'm sure many, many people miss Wayne Dyer. I mean,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's great, great men that have walked this. I mean, it's not even men. It's just the word. It's the message walks everywhere. It's just,
exactly.
you walk out in your day and you're going to see it or touch it. It's amazing. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
that's what it means to me.
Okay. Sandra, would you read 39 or are you commenting on 38?
I wanted to comment on 38, please.
Okay.
I really love and appreciate the teachers that have been named. And I was going to say but I'm going to say and. And when Jesus says, find me, I feel like I can find it sitting here in my yard looking out. I can find it in the words of someone who comes on and shares who isn't a known teacher. Like many times when I've sat in evolved community, I've gotten the most beautiful insights from a fellow participant, which has taken me right to source.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wanted to add that because it says, you will look for me and not find me. If we take that more metaphorically,
Yes.
do
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? The
I think
me
we
isn't
should.
a person. I don't think the
Not
me
a,
is
yeah,
a
it's not a person. Thank you
So
for
that's
that.
why I just wanted to add that.
Yeah.
This
See, I
discussion.
could go there with my 18-year-old grandson.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just a couple weeks ago, I was in Texas at a graduation. My 18-year-old grandson was there, and I got a real sense of speaking to him. He doesn't go to church, he doesn't have a spiritual practice. I felt like, oh my God, this young man, he's halfway awake. He's speaking from a place of awareness, and he doesn't
Yeah.
know any of the content.
Yes. Yes. And so that's not squandering the gift when it is presented. That's embracing it completely. It's
Yeah,
not just about certain people who walk on the earth at certain times and places.
exactly.
It's everywhere, every time, all the time. With my
Yeah,
daughters who know none of this. And that's why I said I'm not their teacher. They are my teacher. It's all
yeah,
one.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah. That was
Thank you for
good.
letting me share.
That was a real plus. Thank you for adding that. I wouldn't have wanted to miss that, Sandra. I like the and. It's not a but, it's an and for sure. All right. William, come on down. Are you our next reading?
No, I just want to make a quick comment.
Oh, good. Okay, we're open for that too.
Kind of following up with Sandra, because it seems like I'm noticing more and more is the feeling inside I have that seems to suck out the wisdom, the teaching that I'm hearing from somebody else. That when I find myself in that space, just like today, several things have just clicked home so deeply. So I just want to say it's almost I've come across in my lifetime hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's like wow, 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 and it's a feeling I have. I just have such a wonderful feeling of connection with certain people when they say certain things. Oh my gosh, I want to hear it. It's like singing the chorus line one more time inside. I just reverberating. And it's that feeling that I'm more and more tending to, as opposed to the words or the words. So I just want to share that.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, that's true. And thank you for sharing that, William. That's awesome. Linda, come on down. Good to see
Hey,
you.
hi. I wanted to comment on 38. I feel like there's a little piece there which is really important, where it says, and you have no one else to hear them from. I feel like that's what the teaching is this is so deep that there's no separation. There's not a teacher and a student. I am you, you are me. I'm speaking through you, but you're listening as truth listening to truth. I don't know how to say this. It's not sounding right, but I feel like there's no, just those words, no one else. There's not another. There's no separation.
Yeah.
And that just speaks to me really deeply. And I feel like the next sentence should be, there will be days when you will look for me and not find me, but I am always here as you.
Oh, good. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And also that you is the same you for all
Yes.
beings and
Right, the
all
unity
things.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, not I'm here as you, a body called Linda, Bill, whoever, but I'm here as the presence.
yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. I felt like there was just a little bit deeper, something kind of hidden in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Thank you.
really that was perfect. Perfectly said, Julie said. Kendall, it's the flow of truth. The question is, do you have the antenna to receive it? Yes. Thank you, Linda. Got a lot of comments there. Thank you, Linda, for that. Would you also read 39, please?
Yeah, that's fine. All right. Jesus said, the Pharisees and the scribes have taken the keys of knowledge, gnosis, and hidden them. They themselves have not entered, nor have they allowed to enter those who wish to. You, however, be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. And Cameron's comments, without the presence of a teacher, words of truth handed down over generations become dogma. The power structures built around the teachings become corrupted and religions are born. These religions and their hierarchies speak the words of truth without understanding their true meaning. Moreover, with a vested interest in having their meaning not communicated. In this environment, for Jesus' disciples to create a teaching movement which is authentic and successful, they will have to be as wise as serpents and as innocent as doves. Now, I think Cameron's comments are really spot on. The authenticity has been taken out of the teachings, and
Yeah.
that's how religions were born. The teachings themselves are so pure. But the Pharisees and the scribes took away the keys to the kingdom. And now we, the disciples, we as awareness, we can share those teachings as wisdom teachings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's very interesting. You can go back once you have clarity and understanding. You can read Bible verses that were true. They were full. I mean, they were absolute truth that just weren't transmitted. They didn't have a clear understanding. They were there, but and this is why that well-known verse, he or she who has ears to hear, let them hear. It's do you see this? And it's so beautiful to have so many people come on and share, even right here in this book study that have ears to hear, and they sing the truth in their clarity, just as you and all the others have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, we're at the end of our time, everyone. This has been awesome. We made it to
No,
third
this is just
time. Oh, wait a
Bill.
minute. Do we have someone else?
Bill, this is not the end of time. This is just the beginning. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Is that Holger?
Yes,
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, this is the end of our time together on this Zoom call. Thank you for being here, and we'll be back next week. I'll be back at 3 o'clock Eastern for practicing presence if you're in Evolve. And